In this class, we'll see some of more of the DOM properties. Like our next topic will be the DOM collection. So we'll make another file over here. Here we'll give our topic as DOM collection. Okay. So previously, when we were talking about the DOM elements, okay, means when we're talking about the query selectors, okay, here we have our get element by id, then we have get elements by tag name, or you can also say class name over here like this. So this get elements by tag name returns a node list, and this id returns a single prop value. So when this tag name gives a node list, okay, so this returns an HTML collection. Okay, actually it returns a list that we call as HTML collection. Okay, so here we'll take one example over here. What we'll do here, we'll comment this out, and I will use two paragraphs over here. Okay, like this, para 1 and para 2, and then what we'll do, we'll suppose target and save it in this variable over here, document dot, will target this by tag name, get elements by tag name, and then we will give p tag. Okay, because we will target both the p tags over here. Then what we'll do, we want to access the p over here. Okay, so we want to access the first p. So how can we do that? So this line over here, this gives us a node list. Okay, suppose what we will do, we'll suppose console log it. Okay, so console log the para over here like this. So first we are storing the paragraph. Okay, means here we have two paragraphs over here, so we'll have access of the both the paragraphs. Here we are output console logging both the paragraphs. Okay, so here we'll change the first, we'll change the path over here. I'll change it to index23.js, and now let's save it, and we'll go and inspect, and we'll inside console, you can see we are getting an HTML collection. Okay, so when we are targeting the tag with the help of tag name, okay, so we are using get elements by tag name property over here. So when we target by using this tag, we get a HTML collection over here. So here you can see we have two collections. Okay, so we are getting two paragraphs because we have mentioned two paragraphs over here, this para 1 and para 2. Suppose we want to access this first para 1. Okay, so we can control it by its index number. Okay, suppose we want the first para, so we'll simply use the 0 index over here in the para variable, and now let's refresh it. So we are getting our first para over here. Okay, so this is the way how we can access the list, DOM node list. Okay, we can access the node list or the HTML collection by using the index. Suppose here I will change it to 1. Now we will get para 2 because we are accessing the second element. Now when we use the third, we want to access the third element, but here third element is not present. Okay, so let's see what is the result. So it is saying undefined because we don't have the third element and we are accessing we want to access the third element over here, so we are getting as undefined. Okay, so when we target the elements by tag name by tags, we get a HTML collection over here. Okay, so here if we want to know the length, okay, suppose we want to know the length of the paragraph. Okay, suppose like this. So we want to know the length of the this para. Okay, this list over here, we want to know the length of the list, how many paragraphs are there. Okay, so here when we refresh it, we are getting 2 because only 2 paragraphs are present in the index.html file. So it gives us the length of the list. Here we are targeting all the paragraphs and it is coming in the node list form, means in the HTML collection form, and from there we are accessing the length of that particular list. Okay, with the help of length method we can go through every elements inside this para variable. Suppose we have 2 paragraphs. Okay, so we can loop through all the paragraphs with the help with this length over here. Okay, so we can use this length property over here and we can loop through all the paragraphs that is present here. Okay, so we can loop through both the paragraphs. Suppose I will make 2 more paragraphs. Okay, like this. Okay, so here I will loop through all the paragraphs over here. So first I will comment this out over here and then I will use a for loop. Here we will use initialize with 0, we will initialize I with 0 and then we will use I should be less than para dot length, means when the length of this, suppose here we have the length as 4. Okay, so here we have the length as 4, so here we'll get I should be less than 4, so it should loop till 3. Okay, so 0, it will start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it will loop through 3. If we give equals to sign here, so it will loop 5 times. Okay, so it will loop through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the looping starts from 0 and ends till 4 over here. Okay, so we want to loop only 4 times. Okay, so we will give I should be less than para dot length is 4 over here, so it will loop 3 times only. Okay, then what I will do, I will just increment I, then we'll give the condition what we want. So what we want is we'll target all the paragraphs. So here if the position is at the first position, so it will target the first paragraph. If the paragraph here the position changes to 1, 2, 3, okay, so it will target the third paragraph over here, so it will increment the position. Okay, so first it will target the first, then second, then third, then the fourth paragraph. Then the condition, this condition will not be valid, then it will move out of the loop. Okay, so what we want is we want to change the color. Okay, so I want to change the color to green over here like this. So what I am doing, I am looping through all the paragraphs and I am changing the color of all the paragraphs to green. Okay, so here we'll save this and let's see if this works or not. So here when we refresh, the color of all the paragraphs has been changed to green. Okay, so in this way, when we target using tag name, we get a HTML collection. Okay, and we can access all the paragraphs with the help of for loop and the length property over here, and we can do write any code we want to write. Okay, so we can target every paragraph of the particular this index.html file. Okay, so here we are targeting the p tag over here, and with the help of for loop we are accessing all the paragraphs. Okay, so this is the HTML collection. When we target the particular element by its tag name, we get a HTML collection. The next is node list. Okay, we also get a node list object. Okay, so how do we get a node list? When we target, here you can see we have three methods over here. Okay, so first is the get element by id. So here we are getting the particular element, here we are getting the HTML collection, and in this we get sometimes a node list or sometimes the collection. Okay, HTML collection. In the older browsers, the no it is in this here get elements by class name. In the older browsers, the node list is returned. Okay, when you are using some older browsers, this particular, when we target the elements by this method, some of the older browsers return the node list and the modern browsers return the HTML collection. Okay, so it is basically the same as this tag name over here. Okay, the HTML collection and the node list is kind of pretty same. Okay, and when we use query selector, so more are there. Query selector, query selector all. So these are the properties methods. Okay, so when we use query selector, when we target the particular element by the query selector all, it gives us the node list. Okay, so it is kind of the same. Okay, the HTML collection and the this node list. Okay, so we can access node list and HTML collection in the same way by this index. Okay, in the like this. Here if we target like this query selector, here we'll use document dot query selector all like this. So here we are targeting the p with the help of query selector all. Here when we console log the para dot length, or suppose here we'll console log the para itself. Okay, so let's see what is the result. So here you can see we are getting the node list. In the previous case, when we were targeting by this tag name, here we are getting the HTML collection. But when we use this query selector all method, we are getting the node list over here. Okay, so we can access the paragraphs by using the index position like we did in the get elements by tag name over here. Okay, so suppose I want to access the second one. Okay, so I will simply use the first index position over here, so it will give the second paragraph over here, para 2 over here. Okay, so the node list and the HTML collection is kind of same. Both the elements are accessed by its index position. So we have talked enough about the DOM, that is the document object model. Now our next topic will be BOM, means browser object model. Okay, so what is browser object model? Okay, so here what we'll do, we'll simply make another file, and here I will explain what is BOM. Okay, that is browser object model. So this is BOM. Basically what it does, it allows JavaScript to talk to the browser. Okay, so here we will get some certain objects. Okay, so the first object that we will use is the window object. Okay, means it will be here, it represents the browser's window that you are using means this window over here. Okay, so this window object will refer to your browser window like this. This is your browser window. So what we'll do here, I will simply here you can write, suppose when we use like document dot get element by id or tag name anything, okay, like this p over here like this. So you are not mentioning window here, so window is hidden over here like this. Okay, so you are targeting the window first, then you are targeting the document. Okay, so this document is inside the window, but we don't have to mention this window object over here. Okay, it is understood, but in some cases we here what window is, in order to understand the window object we can do some examples here. Suppose what we will do is simply console log. Okay, I will comment this out and I will console log. Okay, so what I will console log is I want to know the height of the browser and the width of the browser. Okay, so simply I will use window dot inner height like this. Okay, so I will simply use this window dot inner height and I will save it, and let's see what we get. Okay, when we refresh this, here we haven't linked our index file, so we first link our index file over here, and when we refresh, sorry, here I've given like this, so I'll remove this. Now when we refresh, we should get our height of the window. Okay, so this 657 pixel is the height of our browser window. Okay, so in the same way we can also access the width, window dot inner width. Okay, so here now we are accessing the width, so we are getting the 999. So this is the width, inner width of the browser. Okay, so in this way we can use our window object over here. Okay, so there are various ways. I'm just showing an example over here with how we can use our window object. So when we take this inner width and inner height property over here, so here we only get here if we will have scroll bar, so it will not count that scroll bar width and height. Okay, so it will not include that. Okay, so only the browser window height and width will be calculated. Okay, so some more methods are there that window provides us, that is here in console we can see that. Suppose we'll open our inspector, suppose we'll open some of our tabs over here. Okay, like this, and here I will use our inspector, open our inspector, and I will use window object over here. The first method that window provides us is window.open. Okay, so what it does is it opens a new window actually. Okay, so when we hit enter, see a new window appears on our screen. Okay, so this method opens a new window over here. Okay, so in order to close a window, we also have one more method, that is window dot close like this. So when we click onto this window dot close, you can see our window is now closed. Okay, so with the help of this open and close method, we can open and close a open a new window and or close that particular window. One more method is provided by the window object, that is move to. Okay, so we can move our new window, we can open a new window and we can move the window to any part of our screen. Okay, suppose we want to move our window till here. Okay, so we want to, here we'll mention the size and we can place that window. Suppose we want to give the xy coordinates. Okay, so we have given the xy coordinates and we want to place it in till here. Okay, so till this position. Okay, so we can give the coordinates and we can move the window. So we can see, we'll do one example over here, then you can understand. What I will do is, suppose I will take buttons over here. Okay, two buttons actually. So I will comment this out and I will take two buttons. Okay, and I will add an event over here, button on click, and I will use a function over here. What it will do with this button, this will open our window. Okay, so you can see this by the function name we can understand that what it does, what the function does. So always give a descriptive name. Okay, so this button opens our window and what it will do is it will move the window. Okay, so this function will move our window. Move window. Okay, like this. Now what we will do, we will write both these functions. Okay, we'll execute both these functions in our index24.js. Okay, so first we will work on our open window. Okay, this function over here. So what we'll do is we will open our window. Okay, window dot open. Okay, like this. So here you can see we are we want to place some parameters over here. Okay, we have to place some parameters. So first parameter is the URL, the second is the target, and the third is the features, and the fourth is the replacement. Okay, so what we'll do is we don't have to provide a URL, so we'll keep it empty over here. So now the second parameter is the target. So we want to target which window? Okay, so we want to target this window only. So here we'll store it in a variable. Okay, my window, suppose. So we'll give this name only over here, like this. We'll pass this my window over here, and then the next parameter is the features. Okay, so what we want is, so width and height. So what we'll give is we'll give our width and height. So we'll give width as 200 and height as, height suppose 400, like this. Okay, so our this window part is over. So we are opening a window. Inside this function we are opening a window. Now we'll talk about another function, that is move window. Move win. Okay, like this. So inside this what we'll do is we will move our window. Okay, so here we are moving this window over here. So we'll target this my window. Just a minute. My window, and I will move this particular window to a certain position. Okay, so here we'll give the x and y coordinates. Suppose 300 comma 300, like this. Okay, like this. So here what we'll do is we will make this variable as a global variable, like this, because we are accessing from two functions over here. Okay, just a minute. My window, like this. Okay, so we are accessing it globally. Now let's see if this works or not. So when we go to our document, when we refresh, we have our two windows. When we click on this open window, so we are getting this window over here that has a size of this 200 and 400, and we are moving the window to the 300. And suppose when we move this, so here you can see when we click onto this open window, so it is opening a new window. Okay, but when we click on this move window, here we are getting an error. Move to is not a function. Actually here what I will do, so here we'll first check, we'll open our window. Okay, so here you can see I'm giving the position as 300. So this 300 is as x coordinate and this 300 is the y coordinate. So when we click onto this move window, so here we have opened our window. Okay, so when we click onto this movement window, just a minute. So here you can see it changes its position. Okay, so here you can I will just change the position over here. I will change it to 4, suppose 500 and 500 like this, and I will save it, and I will close this new window over here. And now when we open our window, so our new window is opened, and I will slightly move it down, and when we click onto this move window, you can see when we have our window, it is placed in here. Okay, so it is placed 500 from left and 500 from top. Okay, so this moves the particular window object. Okay, so this is the use of move to method over here. Okay, so it simply moves the particular window, and this particular open method, it particularly opens a particular window. So here we are having three methods: the open, close and move to. The next is the resize to method that window provides us. This method, what it does is it resizes the screen. So here you can see we have mentioned the width and height. Okay, so what it will do is it simply resizes the window. Here when we pass resize to method like this, so I will simply like will not pass this function, will make another function. So what I will do, I will write another function that is resize window like this, and here what I will do is I will resize the particular window, resize to like this. So here we'll give the width and height. Suppose initially you can see we have our window here like this. Okay, so the width is 200 actually, and the height is 400. Now what we'll do is we will make the width as 400 and the height as 200 like this. Okay, and now we'll pass this function here. Okay, resize window, and here I will change the name resize window, and let's save it. And when we will close this function, this window over here, and here when we click this button, we have our window. And now when we click on this button, so it will resize our window. So here you can see we have our window. So now the width and height has been changed. The width is now 400 and the height is 200. Okay, previously the width was 400 and the height, sorry, the width was 200 and the height was 400. Okay, so with the help of this resize to method, we can resize the particular window that we have opened. Okay, so these are the four methods that window actually provides us. Now we will talk about the window.screen object. Okay, so inside the window we have our screen. Okay, so that also provides certain methods. Okay, so we'll talk about the window screen object over here. Okay, so this object also provides certain methods, that is the width and the height or the color depth, like this. Okay, so for checking that, what we'll do is we'll simply console log the screen width. Okay, so we'll simply console log screen dot width, like this. So when we want to access the screen width, we can write like this. Okay, so here we will click on this, we'll close all the tabs over here, we'll close our window, and when we refresh this, you can see this is the size of the screen, that is the 1366. Okay, so this is the screen width, and when we use the screen dot height like this, so we will get our screen height over here. Screen is not defined. Okay, so I have missed my n over here. So when we refresh this, so this is the height of our screen. So 1366 is our width of the screen, and the 768 is the height of the screen. Okay, so previously we are accessing the window width and height, and now we are accessing the screen width and height. So these are the two differences. Another window object is the location. Okay, so now we'll talk about the window location. Okay, so location means actually the URL in which we are currently present. Okay, so when we want, if we want to know the URL of a particular location, so we can access with the window location object. Okay, so we can use our location window dot location object in order to extract the particular URL. Okay, so what I will do is I will simply console log like this, and I will simply write window dot location, and then you have to mention a property, that is href. Href actually means the current URL. Okay, so the current URL of that particular location. Okay, so here I'm mentioning the href property over here, and simply will refresh it. So we are getting the URL of that particular page that we are currently in. Okay, so it gives the this location or the URL of that particular page that we are currently in. So this location also has certain properties. The first is href property. The second is the host name. Okay, so here I will simply console log the host name. Okay, like this. And what I will do is I'll simply save it, and let's see what is the host name. So here you can see we don't have an host name. Okay, so here what I will do, I will open W3 schools like this, and I will use our inspector. I will clear all the console logs, and here what I will do, I will write window dot location dot host name like this. Okay, so when we click on this, you can see we are getting our host name. Okay, when we suppose go to our JavaScript or any of the particular tutorials, now when we type window dot location dot host name, and when we enter, you can see it is coming as www.w3schools.com. So this particular thing is the host name. Okay, means it actually the host name of the current page. Okay, so the current page is on this host actually. Okay, now our another property is the path name. Okay, so here what we'll do, simply add another property, that is path name over here. and let's see what it gives. We'll refresh this. So here it gives the path. Okay, so notice the difference over here. When we give the href, it gives this whole path over here. This, sorry, here when we use the href, it gives the whole url. Okay, so file the XAMPP sd docs. Okay, and when we give the path, it only gives the path, means starts from the d folder and it is inside the XAMPP. Okay, so it gives a particular path in which our particular file is located. Now the another property that we'll study is the protocol. Okay, so we'll simply use this protocol. Protocol basically means the HTTP or HTTPS, whether we are using it in secure form or not. Okay, we are using it with HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, when we refresh this, so here we are using it with file. Okay, when we go and write here window dot location dot protocol like this, and when we hit enter, you can see it is using the HTTPS protocol over here, and inside this we are getting file. Okay, so this is the HTTP, this is the protocol actually. Okay, the HTTP or HTTPS or the file. Okay, now the next property is the port. Okay, port means the port number that we are currently in. Okay, suppose we console log. Now you can see we are not currently on any port. Okay, for HTTPS it returns 443 actually. Okay, and for HTTP it returns 80. Suppose here we have our protocol as HTTPS. So when we write window dot location dot port like this, it will, here we aren't getting any port actually, so it is not showing because we are running it in HTTPS. So when we run it in HTTP or HTTPS, this port number doesn't show. Okay, so basically the default port for HTTP is 80 and for HTTPS is 443. Okay, so these are the properties of this window location object. Now we'll move forward to our next window object. Okay, that is the history object. Here we'll write our topic as window history. Where, as the name suggests, it the contains this object contains the browser history. Okay, suppose what we'll do, we'll simply test. Okay, so here when we use this window dot history like this. Okay, so it provides certain properties. Okay, so first method is the back method. So what it does is when we enter, it will go back in the browser. Okay, so here you can see it goes back in the browser. Okay, so we are currently in this page, and when we hit on that particular window.history.back, it takes us to the previous page. Okay, and now the another is window.history.forward. Okay, what it will do is it will take us to the next page. Here it will take us to the next page because here we will not able to check which page we will currently on, so it is returning us undefined. Okay, so we have learned about the window history object. So it gives us two methods, that is back, sorry, back and the forward method. Now our next is the pop-up boxes. Example, when we use an alert box over here, suppose here I will simply, when we click on suppose here what I will do, I will simply click, and upon clicking I will simply open a open an alert box over here. Okay, suppose when we click this button, an alert box opens. Okay, so this comes under the pop-up boxes over here. So we can write like this, only the alert, or you can also write window dot alert like this, and here you can give the message. Okay, so here you can write the alert box like this. Okay, so here we'll refresh this and we'll click on this. So now it says the alert box. Okay, so you can use the window dot alert, or you can simply use the alert. Okay, the next is the confirm. So the confirm box is the same as the alert box. Okay, so what is the difference basically? Here what I will do is I will change it to confirm. Okay, and I will change the name over here, and I will change it to confirm box like this. And here when we refresh and click this button, you can see this page says confirm box. Okay, so it is kind of alert box. Okay, but notice one difference. In alert box we aren't getting two buttons over here. Here when we use alert box, suppose like this. Okay, so we are using alert box over here. So here we are only getting one button, but when we use confirm like this, so it gives us two buttons. You can see OK and cancel. Okay, so confirm means it provides us two buttons. If you want to press OK, if the condition is right, then press OK. If you don't want, press cancel over here. Okay, so it is basically a kind of the confirmation box. The other is prompt. Okay, so what I will do is I will simply use the prompt box. Okay, like this. I will use window dot, and to open the prompt box we'll use the prompt, and it takes certain parameters over here. Okay, so what I will do is simply check what it gives. Okay, I will simply I will write window dot prompt. Okay, so when we refresh this and click on this button, so here you can see we are getting a prompt box. Okay, suppose we write something over here. Okay, and we hit enter, so it will be submitted. If you will provide a code for the server side, it will submit that particular text to the server or anywhere. Okay, so this is in the prompt box we can input something. Okay, so in the alert box it basically shows us the message. In the confirm box it gives the confirmation message. Okay, and in the prompt box it takes a particular input. Okay, so these are the three pop-up boxes that window provides us. So the next is the window cookie. Okay, so here I will give the window cookie topic over here. Okay, so here I will go to W3 schools over here. Okay, and I will explain cookies in this over here. Okay, so what is a cookie? Okay, basically what it is it is a data that is stored on your computer. Okay, see, when a web server has sent a web page to a browser, the connection is shut down and the server forgets everything about the user. What it is telling that when a server sends a data to a browser, okay, then suppose something wrong happens. Okay, suppose the connection is closed. Okay, so the data that is sent from the server, the data that is getting into the user, that connection is closed now. Okay, so we don't have any information now. Okay, so the cookies, why cookies were invented? Okay, to solve this problem, so that whenever the data comes from the server, the browser stores that in some of the information and keep it in the browser. Okay, so here you can see when a user visits a web page, his or her name can be stored in a cookie. Okay, next time the user visits a page, the cookie remembers his or name. So what it is telling is when we send some data from a server, we can store some data in the form of cookie in the browser itself. Okay, so here we are saving, suppose username as John Doe. So we are saving this data in a form of cookie in the browser itself. Okay, so you can create a cookie. So JavaScript can create, read and delete cookies with the document.cookie property. So the cookie is created like this, document.cookie, and then you have to mention the value that you want to store as a cookie. So here we are providing the username as John Doe. Okay, so we want to store this value as a cookie. So you can also give an expiry date. So suppose this cookie should expire till 18 December, okay, 2013. Okay, so you can give an expiry date. Okay, and here you can also mention a path, so where you can tell the browser that the cookie belongs. Okay, so in this way you can create a cookie. You can also read a cookie. You just have to write document.cookie, and with the help this we can also change a cookie. How we can change it? We simply have to write document.cookie here. When we are creating a cookie, we are simply using document.cookie and then the username. Okay, and the same thing we have to write. We only have to change the particular value. Here we are using the John Doe, and here we are providing John Smith. Okay, so here we are simply providing the replaced value, and it will change that particular cookie with that value. Okay, so it will override the old cookie. And how can we delete a cookie? So simply we don't have to write anything. Okay, so we don't have to provide a value of that username. So it will delete that particular. You don't only have to provide the property, only the key. Okay, that is username. You don't have to mention the value. So it will, when you don't mention that particular key, means if you don't mention this username value, it will delete that particular cookie. Okay, so in order to delete a cookie, you can do it like this. You will not provide that particular value, okay, of that key. Okay, so here you can see we have a function to set a cookie. Okay, so this is the advanced actually form. You don't have to go through. If you want to, you can go through all of this. Okay, suppose I will simply replace all this over here. Just a minute, I will remove this function. So you can see here what I am doing. What it does is we are taking onload event over here, and when the page loads we are executing this function over here. Okay, and this function what it does is it checks our cookie. Okay, so here we are writing another method, that is get cookie, and it is taking a username. Okay, so we are writing a get cookie over here, and this is the code we are writing. Okay, so it is checking the cookie actually. Okay, so here you can see what we are doing is we'll create a cookie that stores the name of a visitor. The first time a visitor arrives to the web page, he or she will be asked to fill his or her name. The name is then stored in a cookie, means the username will be stored in that particular cookie. Okay, means first time when the user stores that information, writes that information, but that particular username will be stored in a form of cookie in that browser. Okay, and when the next time the user logins, okay, so that particular username will be given by that cookie. Okay, you don't have to type it manually. Okay, so here the next time the visitor arrives at the same page, he or she will get a welcome message. Okay, so this is the code, okay, for storing and for storing a particular cookie and like getting it from the browser. Okay, so these are some of the browser object model objects. Okay, these are some of the browser objects. Okay, this window, all are the browser objects. Okay, so in this lecture I will keep till here only. The next topic I will start from the next lecture.